Hi again, welcome back to Little Big Wins. This is my online presence in the form of a wee little podcast where I express things here that are very little and really not important to the whole world wide over. Certainly there is no great amount of prestige attached to my wee little podcast here, certainly. But they are big to me because they are so personal, and yet have been, what I express here, my intentions I lay out here, have really helped me in all kinds of healings. And I do want to add they have helped me gain more insight and self-realizations for personal growth as part of my healings. So if you are if you are a soul who is listening and perhaps you are done with grand, worldly recognized motions and grand gestures that the world expects from you, but you are looking for like-minded folks and a community where, or at least me, a community of me, supporting just the smaller, not so grand and not so public and not so prestigiously known or prominently known moves in your life towards healing. Feel free to continue to listen. That's kind of where it's my vibe here, just keeping it small. And so the little things that the world sees are actually quite big, and they are big wins for me. I do want to tack on to the previous podcast episode I just made, talking about knowing thyself, really knowing thyself, and perhaps knowing yourself even better after particular life traumas or life trials, because there is a bit of a direction in your life where you've changed lanes so that you have a bigger, broader self-realization phenomenon happen to you because you were almost forced to reconsider better mental health or better emotional states, which means you had to change something in your life, which led to more healthier changes, or at least bigger changes, because you had really a sense of healing. Maybe that happened in your own health and self-care. Maybe that has happened in careers that you realized, hey, you did not have to do this particular career. You really wanted to do another career, and you had some realizations to help you actually go for the career of your heart. In my case, of which I will actually talk about today, I actually did not super fully know exactly what type of economy and industry I wanted to be involved in. I do want to say that I have always loved the arts, and I have always loved great literatures, and of course, when I had teachers and instructors, especially in college, that turned on the light for me with love of world literatures, I absolutely continue to fall deeper in love with it. The history of literature, the social context of which they were composed and written for, and how they transcend time. Some of them do, not all of them, but and a particular respect for a mind and who put thought to pen and paper, or typed it, or AI'd it maybe. It's a great love for how they capture emotions even, and descriptions, that type of thing. And, how could you not be hypnotized by literature that can do can be really very visceral when it talks about grief, and so enchanting when they're descriptive of idyllic places and locations, and also how just how just how literature can also immerse you within the mind of a being, other people that maybe you see yourself in, or maybe actually you don't see yourself in, but the descriptions are so vivid that you can actually immerse yourself in that particular sympathetics for that particular soul, and you're walking with him throughout a novel, that type of thing. And I love the academic, scholarly side of the arts and letters. I just love it. And I have a great love and experience with reading and expressing and teaching philosophy as well. Philosophy and literature are so closely tied together on so many fronts and so many levels, and even the back door. Really tied to so much. And of course that ties me to the arts, different other ways of expressing arts outside of literature. I love art history. I love performance arts. These are so wonderful. I love the art galleries. It's another great attraction of mine towards anywhere in the world. And yet at the same time, it's really not a mystery that I live in New York City, where there's access to where so many artists converge, and art galleries and art fairs, and fantastic. I also have a great love for the kitsch arts, with decorating homes, and even doing businesses with that as well. Those are things I really love. Little craft projects, and I just absolutely love that. And for a long time, that was my career, the literary arts and the social sciences and the letters. That was my career as a professor, and I still, even to this day, I am happy to do part-time work, to be a professor and to keep myself grounded in that. I was trained in it with degrees, and I will probably finish out some other degrees also, which are arts and letters based. And I love that is a part of my life and my actual formal training in schools, in school, and I immersing myself in the arts, and that is something I know of myself very well. I did learn, however, that could be part of a lifestyle, but I can also choose to not make it my only form of life career, and that I could enjoy it but not depend on it solely for a career. And for a career, I have turned to more industrial things, and I could still have a life of the arts still, because it's a lifestyle, it's a life choice to immerse in the options of enjoying what other people express, through art galleries, through performance, through being a adjunct professor. However, I'm not necessarily running and racing towards being a full-time professor so much anymore. And I have discovered other industries where I can self-train and just make my own cash. And a lot of these are art-based. These businesses I've built, they are based on those sensibilities that lean towards the arts, but I also did not limit myself to that type of entrepreneurship either. I am interested in oil and energy, and right now in the hot pursuit of landing that great contract with an oil company, and or being hired from them in a remote position. And so I wanted to say, you might think, hey, that's not like a big deal, or the world might say, hey, that's not a big deal, but it's definitely a big win for me because I have realized that I can still have that immersive, beautiful life of art and beauty around me, even being an instructor of it, but I am not trapped in it, where I find that the only position that I can have for a career is like arts administration only, or teaching only, or being an art gallerist only. Those are big things. I just want more options to be able to financially support myself. And so in my self-realizations journey, I have realized that I can recategorize and recompartmentalize what is really wonderful for me as a lifestyle, but not necessarily the arts and things and the letters and academic life is not my only life career options. I can have other options, and I have gone ahead and studied and prepared for that, and even have my own businesses, more on the industry side of just self-supporting myself financially. And that's a big realization to have, and then learning how to say it and express it and articulate it so that other people like yourselves who are listening might also need some direction, and to be pointed in the direction that they actually prefer. So in that, I can have a life of industry and yet also retain a lifestyle of the arts and self-expression, and loving what others express. I'm still a Barbara Gladstone fan. I'm still a Gagosian fan. I'm still loving art history. I still enjoy going to the Louvre and to the Met. I still love going to even smaller museums. The New Gallery. I still love going to, I still enjoy what people express. And, so I'm still a Romano Polka fan, and I'm still a Monet fan, and Cézanne, and still a fan of those great arbiters expressing themselves in the arts. And I still love philosophy. I'm still hammering away at Immanuel Kant. I still love his notion of categorical imperative. And of course, I'm deeply religious, so I still love the life transformations towards a higher living in that spiritual religious sphere. As a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I'm still savoring all of that. But I do not have to limit myself to how I can financially support myself just in these areas. I can actually go and venture out. And so that's a point about knowing thyself. I have learned to know myself even deeper and realize that I can do more, and I am eligible and can verify that I can do more than one industry / one form of interest, and to balance that out in a particular type of juggle that may appear not so balanced. But those options are there, and I really, really love that. I was sitting there yesterday and calling different oil companies in Midland, Texas. If you know the Permian Basin, then you know all about Midland, Texas. And I just sat there and really relished the moment of, oh my goodness, I am absolutely in charge of my life. I can go in any of these directions with self-financing and access to a multiplicity and a variety of careers that they're not limiting It's not limited. I also have interest in crypto and an interest in blockchain, different types of blockchain, which is the Web3. I also have interest in politics, which I have decided I love politics, but I'm not interested in having a career in politics. And hit that whole thing. And I love academics, but I'm not interested in having my soul, like this, solely a career in academics only. I love adjuncting. I'm actually quite happy just adjuncting. And kudos to those who are there full-time, absolutely. Once upon a time, I was a full-time professor. And I absolutely take my hats off to you. But for me personally, I really love dabbling in these varieties of worlds. But I also even more so love that I get to personally choose which industry I want to go in. And for a long time, I just kind of appeared on the academic scene as a professor because it was just there. But I actually did not fully know. I knew that I loved it, but I actually did not. I did know that I actually did not sit down with myself earlier on in my earlier years as a teen or as a graduating high school kid or as an earlier college degree student. And I was like, what do I really want? Do I know myself? I do have a sense of gratitude towards waiting until I've had a whole bunch of life happen to me and have life experiences to later on be able to say, I was almost too young to ask myself the question, what do I like? I have a gratitude towards being able to find myself career-wise later, or career options choices later. I even know more about the different types of investing and the type of crypto process that I actually prefer. And I would not have known this when I was younger. A lot of these technologies were not even around. I also have a great interest in AI. However, it's in oil and energy where I will make my mark, or I plan to make my mark. And I do have a wish list as to how I want to do it. I want to continue to live in New York City, and I'm open about being a road warrior to travel. But I would like the position in oil and energy to be remote and a virtual one, and to use the talents I have towards that. Well, that's where I am. I also hope to use my education background in that new oil and energy industry sector, which I'm so excited about. I'm into mining minerals safely, of course. I'm into extracting crude oil, and I'm interested in that clean coal movement. I just love what the Trump administration is doing, because they have... the guy at the top has a heart for people and has a sense for business and has been doing it for years and years and years. And has partners in all those industries as well. I have a great love for even renewables, the ones that work, not the dumb ones. And, it's there to know thyself. The world may not care about that, but I care about that for myself. And if you're feeling at a loss as to how to navigate mentally and emotionally through that, know that you are not alone, that I am there right now. And what I really love is that once I land this really awesome remote work from home job where I could virtually just live anywhere, I could be in Dubai, wherever, always having a place in New York City, of course, this will fund my 40 plus subsidiary businesses, and pay the fees for that and pay the advertisements so that after a few years, I do not have to stay in the oil industry. I will have made all these really great connections, learn more about how to invest in commodities, obviously safely and legally, of course. And I could be scot-free in just a couple years and retire long before I'm 60. So I love that I've built my businesses and that I found a way to actually continue to support it better financially. And I realize, hey, I don't have like cash or enough cash for advertisements, which is what my businesses need really. And I want to do it in an industry that I have really grown to love and will forever cherish, which is mainly the energy sector, tied to the cyber currencies and tied to AI. And so if you, again, are someone seeking to look for support in self-realizing how to know thyself better in relation to what type of lifestyle and compartmentalizing that separately from what type of life careers that you really want, it might seem like odd that someone actually thought that through, but that's actually those are the little things that I found are a big win for me because I am living that self-realization. And I've been feeling excited about what I can offer the energy sector. And I thank you so much for joining us here on Little Big Wins. Hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.